painted something, staged it, stood back, looked at it, and decided that it was not the way. It was not the vibe. So today's project is one piece, two ways. I hope that you enjoy the video. I picked up this little cabinet from my local thrift store. Just so you know, it's not real wood. I know there's people out there that panic when I paint things, but listen, this is particle board. This is a very cheaply made piece of furniture. It's mass produced and kind of like a sticky sticker-like veneer over top of particle board. So let's get this thing ready for paint by, first of all, assessing the situation, cleaning with white lightning, and removing all of that hardware. Some of the hardware is broken, so we're going to need to figure out a way to replace that. We can fill in those existing holes with mud and also resecure the interior velvet on this piece. I have an idea for some of that missing hardware. I think we can make this work with some pieces that I have in my stash. But before we begin, I need to assess the project. Since this is a shiny surface, plastic-like material, it's going to require an extra step in my prep. This means bonding boss. Now, what happens if you just clean this and paint it? I'm going to tell you, your paint is going to scratch off because of that shiny plastic-like surface. Any kind of paint is not going to stick to any kind of surface. You need to know the difference between what needs a prepping primer, like this bonding boss, and what doesn't. So my rule of thumb is that if it's fake, like fake wood, fake veneer, or plastic-like surface, it's going to get 2 even coats of bonding boss. This bonding boss allows your paint to stick to any kind of surface, plastic, metal, wood, whatever it is. You put this on, you wait the 24 hours, and you are good to go. And if you're choosing to paint a light color, know that using this bonding primer, it also has a built-in tannin blocker. It's going to block stains and tannins from coming through your paint. I have a couple of these molds from Prima that I used with some resin, and I think that this will be a great option to cover up the existing holes and fix the hardware problem. Since you can't really drill straight through and put a screw in the back of the velvet, whatever I do is going to be external with glue. So I'm going to cut these screws to size to fit the actual hole of the keyhole. So when I actually screw my hardware in, it's only going into the fake keyhole, not the actual wood. This piece is pretty generic and kind of boring. Let's dress it up with a little bit of Woodubend moldings. You know I love my Woodubend moldings, right? I talk about them all the time. They're like jewelry for your furniture. Woodubend moldings arrive rigid and hard, and then when you heat them up on the back and apply wood glue, they are bendy. So you can bend them right around corners, edges. You can see me here bending them around the legs of this jewelry armoire. This Woodubend molding is from a set of 2. These ones particularly, the bows, are only available at dixiebellepaint.com. I will link them in the description of the video for you. So after heating them up and getting them all bendy, you adhere them to your project. I like to tape mine down to hold the shape, and then when they get cool, they harden again. I always heat them one more time when they're on the piece. This way I'm making sure that they are fully adhered to my project. And I actually heat up every Woodubend molding, even if I'm putting it onto a flat surface. This way I'm making sure that it's super flat and stuck down onto the project. You can cut your Woodubend, drill through it. You can use an X-Acto knife to cut it to shape or size. There's trim rolls. There's a lot of possibilities when it comes to these little pieces of wood. And once they are dry, all you need to do is tape them down and wait for that glue to get dry, and you can paint right over top. You can stain these little guys as well. So if you're staining a project and you want to stain them to match, they are made from actual wood and the color should match your project. I'm also going to include a link in the description below for a Woodubend discount code where you can get a percentage off of your order if you order from woodubend.com. Since the corner of this project is very round, I did use a clamp to hold it flat to my project. Will those get dry? Let's work on the hardware issue for the 2 side doors. For these two side doors with the broken hardware, I'm going to adhere my little tiny molding. So these moldings are actually fake keyholes, and I've cut the screw so that the screw sits inside the hole of the keyhole. This way, when the vintage hardware is screwed into the keyhole, it actually just sits on the surface of the project, not going through the interior velvet. This little tool that you see me using, I actually use quite a lot. I think it's technically a wire stripper, but if you put your screw in the base near the handle, you can chop your screws to a shorter length. So what's the color choice for this piece? Well, it is a color from Dixie Belle. This is called Magnolia. It is a bright, creamy white, and it goes on like a dream. This paint is water-based, has 0 VOCs, safe to use indoors and around your pets. To apply my chalk mineral paint, I like to use a smooth synthetic brush. This is my flat medium brush. Coming in and using a spray misting bottle when needed to thin out the paint and push it into those Woodubend moldings. For this tiny project, I applied 2 even coats of chalk mineral paint to cover the bonding boss. When applying my second coat of chalk mineral paint, I will definitely use a little bit more water. This is going to thin out the paint and get it a little more flat. You can also sand in between coats if you wanted a smoother surface. I seem to get a lot of questions about hinges. The sides of these doors are actually attached at the back with a hinge. I do not ever remove them because I find if you remove the doors and the hinges, they never go on the same way. So I leave those on while painting, and then when you're done, you can just install your hardware. Your choice of clear coat or satin clear coat is up to you. Some people use wax to seal their project. It's entirely what you prefer. So after I staged this piece, put back on the hardware, and took a good look at it, I decided it needed something else. I'm going to apply a transfer to this project, and then I can zhuzh it up just a little bit more. Since I used clear coat on that project to seal it with 2 coats of paint, I don't have to worry about applying a transfer. It will stick to satin clear coat. But a heads up, if you used wax to seal your project and then you changed your mind and you wanted to add a transfer, you would have to remove the wax first. Transfers will not adhere to waxed surfaces. I personally like to cut up my transfers and lay them out in the pattern that I would design. This way it's going to help me kind of get a better layout than just kind of going in all helter-skelter. So first things first, cut out the images that you want to use, plan them onto your project, and then you can adhere them down to your piece. I did end up taking off the hardware so that the transfer can be underneath where the hardware might sit. I can just simply put it back on when I'm finished. This transfer is the mid-size transfer. It's not very big and it's not very small, so it's actually a really great size for this jewelry armoire. If you haven't had the opportunity to try a transfer before, I'll walk you through the process. It is quite easy. Simply peel off the white backing from your piece, and then you're going to take that sticky surface and push it down onto your project. Every transfer comes with an enclosed burnishing tool, which is just simply a stick of wood. What you're going to do then is push off that image. It's going to release from the plastic sheet as you peel it back, and then it will be stuck onto your project. They're really, really thin, so it's not like a sticker where you might have a lip or an edge. They actually sit very flush to your work. Sometimes for the tiny corners, I push down with my fingernail. You'll see me using my hands as a tool a lot of the time. And you can see the color change on the plastic. So when it releases, it actually goes a little bit cloudy. So you just move slowly, make sure the entire image is stuck down onto your piece. If it is over top of an edge of a drawer, you simply cut it with a sharp knife when you are done. You can seal your transfers with either wax or clear coat. For this project, I use satin clear coat. And then this is the new vibe. I think it's preferable for me to have transfers and a lot of decor on my items. I like a heavily decorated piece of furniture versus something very plain. So what do you think of the final look? Are you team plain or are you team transfer? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.